So what was the staff's reaction when you first brought these in?
I think they thought I was crazy.
I can see the whole wide world with these two eyes, and I can be whoever I wanna be, 'cause it's my life.
Hi, thanks for joining us for another episode of Ask Spurrell CPA. Today we're talking about our firm's collaborative team workstation. And I have Trevor here with me again here today. So Trevor, we're here as business owners on Holiday Monday.
Yeah, that's what you do. You gotta get the job done if you want to be successful, and it's just part of being a successful entrepreneur is doing the stuff that most people don't want to do.
That's right. Yeah. So the quote that we have here today, it's a Jim Collins quote, author of 6 business books, including one of my favorite, Good to Great. And it says, technology is important. You can't remain a laggard and hope to be great. True. So the statistic, that we're always fighting against is 50% of all Canadian businesses, they fail in 5 years. And the story that we have here is, we set out in this firm at Spurrell & Associates to bring in world-class workstations. You see them behind us all the time in the videos, so we could train top-level accountants. We wanted to spend less time on the tasks that could be automated. And, we want to be able to have more time available to help our client develop strategies that actually give them a competitive advantage rather than just data crunching. So, question, Trevor, what are the questions you think people should be asking about these, crazy CIA-looking workstations?
So these here, are these TVs like we watch sports on here most days and have like multiple screens going out, or are they computer monitors?
We could watch sports on them, but they are not TVs. They are actual computer monitors. And the reason behind why are these computer monitors? TVs are actually cheaper. Computer monitors are more expensive, but TVs are designed to be a passive experience, and computer monitors are active. So you never notice the delay in a TV because you're not actually controlling the motion on the screen. Mm-hmm. But the minute you start using a TV for a computer monitor, you'll notice that your mouse won't move when you're trying to move, and when you type, it takes a while to float back. So what you're looking at here behind us, these are actually 42-inch computer monitors. Also, the viewing angles are a bit different. You can actually see them. If you're sitting at a more of an extreme angle, you can actually read the writing on it, whereas a TV, usually that's a bit of a challenge.
Okay, so what resolution are these bad boys?
These are all actual 4K computer monitors.
Wow.
And so they're not 1080p. And the reason is because a lot of the modern accounting software is now being designed to work on your iPad or your Surface Pro or your MacBook. And all of those have more than 1080p. They're more than HD. And so we want to be the most efficient. So you think about, you're using this modern accounting software that's web-based, and if you don't have as many pixels on the screen, if you're looking at an income statement or a profit and loss statement or balance sheet, you have to scroll and scroll and scroll, because it doesn't matter how big they are. If you don't have enough pixels on the screen, you're not going to get all the characters on the screen. So these are legitimate, 4K computer monitors.
That's amazing. So how many people sit at each workstation?
So the workstations are designed for 3 people to be at there. So normally we have a team, and one person sits on the far right, one person sits on the far left, and someone can sit in the middle. But they're designed that usually 2 to 3 people are at them at any given time.
So is each client assigned to one of these workstations?
Yeah, so that's kind of the what we found is a lot of other firms they assign one client to one person, but then that person goes on holidays, they get sick, they get staff turnover, and no one knows what's going on in the file. So we always assign all of our clients to a team of 2, and they sit at a team workstation. So right hand will always know what the left hand is doing, and so essentially every one of our clients is assigned to one of these rigs somewhere at our office. That's usually how it works here.
Okay, so who generally sits in the middle at each station?
Usually in the middle, it's myself or shout out another CPA or Denise, our other manager, and they're there. And that's actually helps them be able to train, so they can review files, they can train the staff. And that's usually what's doing it at the middle. It's the person who's kind of running point and coordinating and training and reviewing.
Okay. So is training a big part of running an accounting practice?
It is absolutely huge. If it wasn't for training, that's essentially what we're doing is, we don't have a widget. We're not cranking out a widget every day. We're cranking out knowledge every day, and your ability to teach those up and coming accountants is the way to do it. If you relied on high level accountants all of the time, the cost to the customers would be astronomical.
Right.
They'd be paying, $300 an hour to do little data crunching tasks. When being able to train students who come through the system, that's that combination of having the high level skill and students at various stages in, usually post degree after they have their 4-year degrees start working here. So they have some pretty significant training already, but there are ways to be becoming a CPA, and that's what usually allows us to deliver a high level of service at a price that people can actually afford.
Okay, so why is each computer hooked up to 3 monitors?
So it's a good question, because there's a lot of stats that will actually suggest that the productivity decreases after 2 monitors. So most people, the difference between productivity in 1 monitor and 2 monitors is huge. It's astronomical. People are significantly more productive if they have 2 monitors than 1. And a lot of people they've done some testing on what if you have 3, what if you have 4, what if you have 5, how far does this rule go? And what they found is most of the time in most businesses, if you have more than 2 monitors, it's not really making a big difference in productivity. And there's of course the cost to having more than 2 monitors, especially when you have 3 4K monitors. You have a whole different graphic card set up to do it. But we went down that road because when you look at accounting, oftentimes we're looking at a report on one screen. And another screen, we have a mechanism where we can make a journal entry. So we're actually triggering something on another screen. And on a third screen, here's the part with accounting, is you need a document of why you're making that change in the first place. You have a bank statement, an invoice, a receipt, your source document, as we call it, on one screen, and we have the change that we're making on another screen, and then we can do the report, which is actually going to show us the effect of that change on a third screen. And it's very difficult to get away from that in accounting, and we found that having those 3 monitors allows you to see those 3 very critical components, and it really doesn't matter what software you're using. You have a source document, you're making a journal entry, and you're seeing the ultimate change on another report on a third screen.
That's very cool. So what's so special about these hard drives?
These hard drives are one of the most, we don't see it, they're below, you see it on our homepage, but if you look at the rigs themselves, they have 2 terabyte M.2 SSD hard drives, which means absolutely nothing to the average human being. So what that really means is, we have, normal people, if you say a solid state drive, they might understand that. So the old school hard drive has like a record player that spins and it spins and it spins. And then you have a solid state drive that doesn't have a spinning component, just like your phone runs on. That's why your phone can pull up information quicker, is because it has a solid state drive. It doesn't have a hard drive with a spinning component, so we can find information quicker. M.2 simply means it's plugged directly into the motherboard. So rather than having a cord that links to the motherboard, it's just actually plugged directly into the motherboard. So which means the information is even quicker getting to the processor. So A, it doesn't have a spinning component. B, it's plugged directly into the motherboard. And why does that matter to an accounting firm? Because at the end of the day, we need to be able to pull up documents as quickly as possible. So we have 2 terabytes. So there's super big hard drives, so we can put all of our information, all of our source documents on there. We're not pulling them down from a cloud every time we need them, and they're super fast that we can get all that information up, and we can get the client's information up as quickly as possible, which helps us do the work as quickly as possible and get clients the answers they want as soon as possible.
So why do you think most accounting firms don't spend money on technology like this?
Because they charge by the hour. So if it takes them longer, they just charge you more. So what's the reward? But we charge flat fees here, so we're motivated to have the most efficient, most cost-effective way to do the work, and that involves sometimes spending some money on technology. Whereas if we were billing by the hour, the logic really wouldn't be there. But at flat fees, if we can get it quicker, everybody wins because we get it more efficiently, and the clients get their answer quicker too.
So, what was the staff's reaction when you first brought these in?
I think they thought I was crazy. I think that was the first reaction was, what is Josh doing? And all these monitors, this sounds like crazy. We're going to look like the CIA when people walk in here with all these monitors. And then we brought one of these rigs in, is kind of how it worked. We brought one. I wasn't crazy enough to outfit the whole office with them at first, but we brought one of them in. And then the one team started to train on it, and everyone else, of course, is poking their head through the door and seeing, how is this working? And then they realized it was so much quicker, and everybody else was using these other systems that were a lot slower. And then the question that everyone started to get is, when do we get ours? Why does only that one team have this really cool workstation? When do we get ours? And so that's kind of when we realized that we had something here. This isn't just something that made sense in my head. When we tested it, it worked really well.
So I know I can answer this next question, but what's it like working on other computers after working on these?
It is the most frustrating. It's like taking the bus after knowing that you can drive a car somewhere. So it's like waiting for that bus in minus 40 weather after getting your license and driving around for a year or two. It is extremely slow. These things are, they're not just big and collaborative. They're quick. They're ultra quick too. And just having all that real estate where you can lay out all your information, it just makes you so much more productive. So it's one of those things. It's difficult to go back once you've worked on one of these things.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, if I have to do any work at home, it takes me 4 times as long because these machines are just so beefy, have so much power, so much processing power. So yeah. I love working on them.
Right on. So thanks so much for joining us again, guys. As always, please hit the like and subscribe button so we can continue to deliver you tips on how to beat the odds at business. And we look forward to reading your comments below so we can get back to you and know what you'd like addressed in future videos. Thanks very much.